Hey guys, it's Hannah. So we just wanted to let you know that we did have a little bit of technical difficulties while we were recording this episode. We ended up recording it over like 2 different days, over a couple different sessions. So if you hear any hiccups or changes in tone or whatever, just wanted to let you know that that's kind of what happened. And thank you for bearing with us. And thank you to our guest, Kyle, who you will meet in just a second, for also bearing with us during our technical difficulties. All right. Enjoy the show.
Last week on Gleeboot, there was a goop breakup, a night of neglect, and the return of Sandy Ryerson, our least favorite character. And that's what you missed on Gleeboot.
I miss Gwyneth Paltrow already.
Wait. Sandy Ryerson was in last week?
Yeah.
Don't you remember?
I blacked it out already.
That was a good idea.
Gleeboot. So welcome to Gleeboot, the show where we get drunk and talk about Glee. I'm Cullen.
Allyssa.
I'm Hannah.
And we have a special guest, Hannah's Glee Father.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
My friend Kyle.
I just want to say I'm honored to be given the title of Hannah's Glee Father. I mean, I couldn't ask for anything better in my life.
I was just telling them before we started recording, I was like, technically, Kyle's the reason this podcast is happening because he introduced me to Glee.
I'm like the mother of creation.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm officially taking this moment to ask you why.
Our life has never been the same.
Listen, Glee is disgusting when you're looking back at it now, but I mean, being a little gay kid in McDonald High School in McDonald, Ohio, it really did a lot for me at the time, so I just wanted to share the wealth, I guess.
Yeah, no, like that's something that I feel like this episode will be really great to kind of start with, is that like I often forget how impactful the show was when it was airing, but like it had so much of a cultural impact and social impact on so many people that like sometimes I don't give it that credit, even if it is like insane. So
Yeah, it was huge. And my grandma watched it. I think that's like one of the biggest things that made her like just see gay people as people was watching Glee.
Yeah.
Good for Glee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, good for Glee. Like, I have to give it up. Like,
So, Kyle, are you drinking anything today?
So I have this new Vizzy hard seltzer sparkling water I got this weekend.
ooh.
Like White Claw, but it's like combinations of flavors. So I have black cherry lemon.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
This is a pro White Claw podcast. I don't think I've ever had it on the podcast, but I think Cullen's had it a few times, right?
Yeah, quite a bit.
I think I had one.
Maybe one. I don't know.
I'm drinking a Blue Moon mango wheat.
Oh, girl.
It's pretty good.
You're so good. I'm jealous.
It is. Oh my god, like I just saw this at the grocery store. I was like, I like Blue Moon, I like mango. I'm sure they're delicious together, and they are.
It's incredible.
I'm having an unfiltered hard cider from Angry Orchards, so I'm going to call it a Finn Hudson, because like Finn, it is sweet, but a little unfiltered and says some things.
Oh, no.
Oh wait, is your drink talking to you, Cullen?
The drink's definitely talking.
It's not dancing, that's for sure.
Oh, Lord. I tried one of those yesterday, and it's way better than a normal Angry Orchard.
Oh.
Less sugary.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
like when you drink a Angry Orchard, it's like you're eating a candy apple
Yeah.
without the apple. And this is more just like eating an apple without candy.
What are you drinking, Alyssa?
I am drinking a fabulous concoction that is a frozen Irish coffee.
Whoa.
Oh.
So I put some work into this. I made some coffee ice cubes last night and some almond milk ice cubes last night. And I put 6 of each into a blender along with 1 ounce of Jameson, 1 ounce of Bailey's, and half an ounce of creme de coco.
You're really
Wow.
going with
Yeah.
I love making drinks. It's fun.
I just have to say, this is like a frozen option of a Irish coffee that you did like a while back. So it's a frozen McGinty, I think is his name. I don't even remember that kid's name. You
The
have
actor.
yeah.
The actor is Damien McGinty.
So what's his first name? What's his actual name?
Rory Flanagan.
Oh my god, I wrote Seamus McGinty.
Which one is Damien the show name or the real name?
His name in the show is, what was it? Rory?
Rory. Yeah.
Rory. Oh yeah.
He's actually Alexis Bledel in a hat.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, he does. They do kind of look alike. That's crazy.
Sort of.
Damien, I love Damien in The Handmaid's Tale. I mean,
Damien's so good in The Handmaid's Tale.
Emmy Award deserving. What a snub.
Yes.
So, Kyle, you mentioned it sort of, but what's your relationship with the show Glee?
So I remember when the premiere came out, it was like they did the pilot by itself, and then the actual show didn't come on until months later. And I just I saw the previews for the pilot, and I was like, this looks so gay, and nobody knows I'm gay, but I need to watch this show. So I went in my grandma's basement, my whole family was upstairs, and I watched the pilot by myself, and I just knew in that moment that this was my everything. And then I just got sucked in. I've been to Glee Live. I went to LeakyCon in Chicago just to see Darren Criss in person. I became a little bit too obsessed, so.
Wait, Glee Live is a thing?
Yes,
yeah.
It was 2011, and I worked at Dunkin' Donuts at the time. It was my first job, and I saved up all my money for VIP tickets, and all I got was a second row seat. We didn't get meet and greet.
Oh my god. That's crazy. Yeah, no, I totally remember that. I remember you had a poster and stuff. You came back and I was like, I'm kind of jealous.
We got a Warbler's tie for being VIP too. So it was the Warbler tie, and then it's Glee Live at the bottom. And then Chris Colfer did a book signing when he wrote Land of Stories in Columbus at the bookstore in the German Village, and he signed my Warbler's tie there.
Oh my god, that's so fun.
Wow.
Okay, so I remember you just showed me one of the episodes, and I believe the episode you actually introduced me to was when they sang Somebody to Love, and that was the April Rhodes episode.
Oh my gosh.
So that was my very first memory of Glee, was vaguely April Rhodes and then them in the blue shirts singing Somebody to Love.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I remember I either bought it or you gave me the first half of the first season DVD that I'm pretty sure I still have. So if I wanted to, I could have put it in my DVD player and watched it, but I chose Netflix instead.
Yeah, I think I brought you to that episode because we both had this weird love for the movie RV, and so I was just need to see Kristen Chenoweth. And
yes,
this is the episode to start you off with.
We weren't able to play Glingo this week because our printer is out of ink.
Oh no. Well, I played Glingo, and I unfortunately, I guess I didn't technically get Shoe, but I got the U, what's that called? A column. He wrote on the chalkboard, they made Asian jokes. Sam said something dumb. They made some gay jokes, and then I crawled out of my skin a couple of times, so yeah.
How many times? Are you keeping tallies?
No, but like I told you guys earlier, I have a lot of notes, but most of them are questions, and a lot of those questions are linked to my skin crawling and me being like, why is this happening? But also genuine confusion. I guess we'll get to that when it happens. What about you, Kyle? Did you get Glingo?
I did not get Glingo. I mean, Brittany obviously said something dumb, and Finn obviously said something dumb, and right off the bat, they were talking about nationals, so they were mentioning the next competition, but I didn't get anything congruently in a Glingo, I would say.
This was a rough one, but it was okay, oddly enough.
Yeah, I have a lot of mixed feelings about this episode. There are parts I liked, parts I didn't. So Kyle, did you take the Glee boyfriend quiz?
I did not, but I would prefer my new boyfriend to be Blaine. I just want to put that out there in the world and the universe and have it come back to me.
I feel like a lot of people have that opinion.
You know, but I would say that I am the most fervent.
He wants that serenade of Somewhere Only We Know.
Yeah.
The most.
Oh.
That was one of the things I was confused about. I have a lot more. I have some notes about driving in Ohio and how long it takes people to get places. So we got some of that coming too.
The Ohio,
Yeah.
I was watching the episode with my boyfriend, and the Ohio stuff, like the geography of it all, makes absolutely no sense. Like, pull up Google Maps, Ryan. It's not that hard.
Yes, it's literally that simple, and it's just, yeah.
Is that our second podcast T-shirt? Pull up Google Maps, Ryan.
Yes.
Now it is. Now it is.
Put that on a
I'm writing it down. It's gonna be on a T-shirt, Kyle, all because of you. I love it.
All right, so there's a lot of different storylines. I have 2 columns on my page.
Well, it is a whole hour.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was an hour and a half when it aired.
Yeah, so I had seen some of her BuzzFeed list or whatever that said this episode was an hour and a half long, and I was like, excuse me, I've watched 90 minutes, and then obviously without all the commercial breaks, it was an easily digestible 60 minutes. That's up for interpretation, of course, but
I thought it was somewhat surprising because it actually felt more easily digestible to me than the normal 30-minute episodes. Maybe because they try and squish way too much into 30 minutes.
45 minutes.
45 minutes?
Yeah, but still, it does often feel like they're only working with 30 minutes of usable content.
We have a Rachel storyline, we have an Emma storyline, we sort of have a Finn storyline, we have a Quinn, and we have Santana and Kurt. I think I'm going to start with Emma.
Okay.
Yeah, and then go into Rachel, because those storylines are like the backbone.
Yeah.
So Will is helping Emma. We get some Wemma content.
Will is, quote, helping, unquote, Emma.
Yeah, good way to put it.
Like polish her fruit, not polish, but clean her fruit. And he's talking about that the kids in Glee Club feel insecure, and it's his job he wants to do more than conjugate verbs and win nationals trophies. He wants to help them see themselves and love themselves.
Yeah, he wants to leave a lasting legacy. And I went, oh, honey, don't kid yourself.
And
Well, I mean, he is leaving a lasting legacy.
we're still talking about it.
Well, legacy is a teacher. And I'm like, that's a loose term, teacher.
Maybe not the legacy he wants, but hey.
Yeah, legacy is a human nightmare.
Yeah. My notes about Shu from the episode, I just said that, like, honestly, he's a dick who cannot handle mental illness and doesn't know how to talk to somebody with mental illness, and his privilege is clear.
Yes.
That pretty much sums it up.
Yeah, I'm like, do we even need to talk about the rest of this storyline?
He's just like, let me touch all these blueberries in front of you and then make you eat them. Like, what?
Yeah, I have a quick PSA when we get to that point that is directly related to cleaning your fruits and vegetables before you eat them. And that's actually the PSA. Super short. Not quite as like in-depth as Emma, but like give them a good zhush in the water.
Yeah, give him a little scrub-a-dub.
Yeah, pesticides are real.
Yep.
So he's like, how long are we going to keep doing this? I'm enjoying like our time together, but I thought you would work on this. And Emma's like, I wasn't born this way, but I've been this way for a while, and this is just who I am. And Will is like, that gives me an idea. We need to teach the kids to accept the way they were born. And there's some dissonance in between how he treats Emma and his message, and we'll get there. And he says, a lesson from their 2 favorite teachers, me
No.
and Gaga.
And the
Oh my
boys
God.
hated the Gaga lesson, so like that doesn't make any sense at all.
Oh my God. When he put himself and our goddess and queen Gaga in the same sentence, no ma'am. I wanted to turn the TV off right there.
And that's like the first 5 minutes. I was literally like, this show is losing all logic.
Yeah, so he does this lesson for the kids. He writes on the board, acceptance. He wants to talk to them about accepting everything about themselves. And Finn is like, why is Miss Pillsbury here? And he's like, because she wants to help. And Emma's like, there's something that I've struggled with accepting about myself for a long time. And she opens her jacket and she has a t-shirt that says ginger on it. And she's like, you're all going to get t-shirts just like this to say whatever you feel insecure about, you want to accept. According to recent legend, I have no soul. It's haunted me for a while.
Do you ever feel like that in Cullen?
Yeah.
That you don't have a soul?
Just empty inside?
Yeah.
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 Well,
But only in the fall and winter, because in the summer and spring you're blonde.
My soul is a gift from the sun. It warms me, it gives me a soul.
Perfect.
And then in the winter, it fades away.
Has
Inside
anyone...
joke for people who know my hair color.
Spoiler alert, he's a ginger. So wait a
But
second.
only in the fall and winter.
She said something about people saying that she smells like copper. Has that
Copper,
been a thing
yeah.
that you've ever heard, Cullen?
I think that's an older thing.
Okay, Cullen say like I've never heard that, and I was like, is that a Glee thing or is that like a real thing that people have said to other gingers? I would have never thought of that.
I had no idea that being ginger was like a bad thing.
Pro Ginger podcast. We support Emma Pillsbury.
We've come out of the closet. We have it on our white t-shirts. Pro ginger.
Ginger inclusionist.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
My note says fresh fruit. It says fresh fart, and I'm like, what?
Oh boy, that's that cider brain.
The drink stocking.
It's
So then Will comes into the teacher's lounge with a bag of, like a paper bag full of fruit, and is like, I thought we'd have lunch together. And he starts eating fruit, and she's like, unwashed fruit? And he's like, yeah, have some. And he puts blueberries on her book.
And she's freaking out.
this
like
is aggressive. This whole scene is so aggressive.
Blueberries and he hasn't washed them, and she's freaking out because of her OCD, and it's all very, like you said, Hannah, aggressive, but also just mean.
Yeah.
Like, he's being a mean person.
And he's just like, we need to fix this. Like, she's a problem to him. Like, if that's how you feel, you better go, boy. Like, move on. And like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
somewhere else.
in the age of COVID, I get Emma. I see what she's doing, and I think she was ahead of her time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like earlier when we'll talk about how she like polishes a chair. I'm like, literally me right now.
Because she's like, I don't prefer the term OCD. I prefer cleanie freak or something.
Yeah,
or
she had a
cleanie
couple
bug.
weird pet names for it.
And he was like, you need to get working on your OCD. It's a serious problem. You have a serious anxiety disorder. And so what he's doing is just triggering that disorder and causing her to be upset. And he's like, just eating unwashed fruit.
Yeah, he's like immersion therapy, but like totally untrained. He's just like pressuring her, and it's just so aggressive. Like he gets like in her face, and I don't like it.
Yeah,
It's just not how you deal with any of those types of problems.
He thinks he's like a psychological vigilante.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cocky way he like throws the blueberries into his mouth, and I'm like, you're gonna get sick from those pesticides.
I hope you choke on it.
Right, like who's gonna be laughing in 2 days when you're in bed calling off for a sub?
Yeah. And then Holly Holiday shows up again.
Oh.
Yeah, so she's like, well, what does he say to her? He's like, you're not being a role model because you didn't admit your OCD in front of these children. And she's like,
Yeah.
I need to be a role model. Like, that's too personal to share with them. I don't feel comfortable with that. And he's like, no, you need to share that, otherwise you're being fake. And I was just like, who are you to tell her how she's supposed to relate to students? And he's like, I think you spend all this time helping people so you can avoid doing the hard work helping yourself.
Ooh. Are we supposed to be like on board with him? Be like, yeah, Emma. Like, I would never think that.
I think we're supposed to be on board with him, but I don't know why. Like he's not making a good argument, and he's not being a good person about it. Maybe I could see if there was someone who's like more nurturing and being like, hey, I think you should probably look into this because it's preventing you from interacting on a daily basis and making...
I kind of just feel like if he had just been a bit more understanding and had like, I don't know, it just... He's also just kind of hypocritical because he's like, this is how you're supposed to talk to students, but like he also handles a lot of situations incorrectly. And then he's also like just being aggressive, and he doesn't seem very understanding. He's just like, you need to fix yourself now kind of thing. It's just...
Right, exactly. Like, she's been living with this for years.
I think it's like a typical like cis straight white male thing where he wants to be like, you need to put yourself out there for your struggles and show them off to everybody. And he's basically just like saying exploiting yourself is helping other people. But he has no idea what she's going through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he has no idea. He's self-righteous, telling everyone how to live their lives, especially women, is like, bars.
Yeah.
Right, it's like, girl, your wife was wearing a fake baby bump for how long? Don't be telling people how to live their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then Emma, we get this actually kind of heart-wrenching scene where Emma is at a therapist, and she spends 45 minutes wiping her chair clean, and it's ready to start, and the doctor is like, we're out of time today. And then the doctor is like, you have severe OCD and anxiety, like, could start you on medication. And Emma's like, I don't want to be a pill popper. I don't want to take medicine to make me act like how people want me to be. And the therapist is very understanding and is everything Will isn't. And is like, this medication will help you live your life the way you were meant to be.
Yeah, that was the biggest takeaway, I think, is that Emma was like, but this is who I am. This is how I'm supposed to be. And the doctor's like, no, like, what's going on is actually keeping you from being who you want and need to be. Because, and she actually like mentions like, this medicine is actually going to help your brain with like keep the serotonin that it makes so that, it can help ease this condition. And so she's very grounded about it and talking about it a bit more scientifically, that I think is probably better than just being like, you need to fix yourself. Like, it's proving to Emma that like, hey, like there's actually a solution that we have to actually help you to live with this and to fix whatever is going on. Like,
oh my goodness, she's talking to an actual psychiatrist. Like, whoa, mind blowing.
And she was like the doctor was talking to her like a person too. Like, not like the embodiment of a problem.
Exactly.
She was.
She was like making her feel heard while also giving her like action that she can start working towards. And I think that's one of the things that Glee was so good for at the time, was like, at least as a high schooler, we didn't see people talking about mental health like that at the time, I feel like, really on TV. So I think that these moments on Glee were really, really nice. I just wish we didn't have the Will Schuester of it all tainting it.
Yeah.
Isn't that our take on almost the whole show? Like,
I just wish we didn't have the Will Schuester.
Like, the reason it's the Gleeboot is because we can see a lot of good foundation and we just kind of want it to be better. And one of the ways we've decided to make it better is to get rid of Will.
Yeah, like the intention is there, but then Will Schuester is just like, we're going to take a hard left turn.
And crash into a wall.
By the way, that's the end of the episode because Emma spent 45 minutes cleaning her chair.
Yeah, 45 minutes of just Emma cleaning. Yeah, it was good. As someone who was also very resistant to taking medication for things I needed to take medication for, I thought the message was really good, and their way they explained it was very strong.
And the doctor empathized with her.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a really big thing. She's like, I had postpartum depression, and this was my experience. And then what made me feel a little bit better and helped me, improve my life was asking for help when I knew I needed it. And I just thought that was just really, really powerful.
Yeah. It was an emotional scene. You really felt for Emma. And then so then in the finale, Born This Way number, when they're all dancing around with their t-shirts, singing Lady Gaga, we have Tina taking the lead. Proud of Tina. And Emma comes up to Will, and she opens her shirt and it says OCD, and he's all like, I approve of you now. And then they dance.
You're not fake.
And they dance together to Gaga.
He's like, I'm so proud of you for revealing your mental health struggle while I just talk about my butt chin.
Yes. Oh my God. And he's definitely not insecure about it, because it just is there. The only person that ever talks about it really is Sue, and she's not even in this episode.
He didn't even say that he was insecure about it. He said, this is something I used to be really insecure about.
True. He did say it like that.
Did he agree to stop drinking at all? Couldn't that be something he talked about?
Yeah, my borderline alcoholism, like,
or his
perfect
superiority complex. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
Narcissism. Cultural appropriation.
Yeah.
So many things to choose from, and butt chin is what we got.
That's just how privileged he is. He can choose something that, like, is kind of non-existent in his life.
So that was the Emma plot. Let's get into Rachel, because that kind of spurs the lesson of the week. Rachel, the lesson learning machine, is dancing with everyone in Glee Club. They're practicing their dance steps, and Finn flails his arm, Frankentine, and wallops her in the nose. I haven't done exactly that, but I've been in similar situations.
Same!
Cullen's corner.
No, I definitely have done similar things.
I remember when I was an altar boy, like, we were kneeling, and, like, someone was shorter who was next to me, so my elbow hit them while they were kneeling. And he was like, oh, that really hurt. He was also so annoying, though. So I didn't feel that bad.
I got one for you. So there was this kid in high school, that I kind of had a crush on, and he kind of had a crush on me, but we were in different grades. Anyway, we went to summer gym together, and there was a relay race, but it was like a partner thing, and so one person had to carry the other person on their back, like piggyback.
Oh.
And so I was on his back, and he tripped, and I fell forward and, like, landed on him, and then sprung back up. I was ready to go. Like, we were gonna lose, and he was still on the ground. And I was like, oh shit. I crushed you. I'm so sorry.
But also, like, we gotta get up, we gotta win.
Exactly. And everyone was like, I can't believe Alyssa's up already. I thought her neck was broken.
So Finn wallops Rachel in the nose on accident, and she breaks her nose. And so Finn is with her at the doctor.
At the doctor with her. At least she doesn't take off her clothes behind a curtain again.
Oh my.
And he wants to hear what the doctor has to say. At least they provide a reason this time. Like, this time makes way more sense than the last time.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it? Because I totally missed it.
The Jesse's girl number.
No. What's the reason this time?
Oh.
He wants to hear what the doctor has to say because he feels bad.
Because he feels bad, yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess it's some kind of a reason.
Yeah, I don't think it's a good enough reason, but it's a reason at least. That's the best we could do in this situation.
And the doctor comes in and is like, you have a broken nose. And that's a perfect opportunity to get some cosmetic work done as I reset your nose. And she's like, you mean a nose job? She's like, Barbara Streisand never got a nose job. And he's like, she's 1 in a million. And she's, what about my voice? And he's like, I won't damage your voice. It can actually improve your voice. And Rachel's like... Yeah,
because she's a deviated septum, so he's going to repair that.
Yeah. So Rachel's like, ooh, maybe I should get a nose job. And then for whatever reason, this that she needs to discuss with the Glee Club.
Well, before that, the doctor, so Finn, he says something to Finn like, what does your girlfriend's nose look like? Or something like that.
Because he's like, oh, is this your boyfriend? And he's like, no. And it's like, oh, what's your girlfriend look like?
Yeah, and I'm like, why did the doctor ask that?
Yeah, that was repulsive.
It was because Rachel said she didn't want to get a nose job because she liked the way she looked. And the doctor was like, yeah. What's your girlfriend look like? It was so gross. It was just like men judging women's noses.
Wow.
What?
That's a first for Glee. Men judging women. Wow.
Okay, I have a question, and this might make me sound terrible and stupid, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is Barbra Streisand Jewish?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know that.
I was expecting something so much.
Yeah. That was like asking Google.
I feel like I should have known.
Well, I think actually I was vaguely familiar with Barbra Streisand, but then Glee, I think, reinforced the notion that she was Jewish because Rachel always connected herself to Barbra in that manner a lot.
Well, she connects herself to Barbra, but she never outright says, oh yeah, she's like the person I look up to because she's Jewish and I'm Jewish.
She has in previous episodes.
Yeah.
I don't remember that happening.
Yeah.
Fun fact, actress Leah Michelle is not Jewish, was raised Christian, and the actress who plays Quinn is Jewish.
Whoa. And she plays a Christian.
Yeah.
Hollywood.
Wow. Topsy-turvy world.
Yeah, so she goes back to Glee Club and is all like, this is, I think you're getting a nose job. It would improve my vocal performance. And everyone's like, Rachel, why'd you get a nose job? And Santana has this big speech where she's
and a fur hat on her head. There are so many crazy hats in this episode. That's just one of many.
And Santana is like, I hear Rachel has a bit of a schnoz. I wouldn't know because they're trying to avoid eye contact with her like Medusa.
So Santana basically just never looks at her face.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Never.
Another key thing is like Santana saying all of this terrible stuff.
Oh my god.
Shu sits there, his mouth clamped shut, shaking his head, hands on his hips, and then finally he'll say something, but that, like, it's him behind Rachel, and my mind was exploding. I was like, Shu, this is literally your only job in this club, is to keep them from insulting each other, and you don't do it.
Ever.
She goes on for like a solid 5 minutes. Like it's like a stand-up roast. And then when it's over, he's just like, all right, guys, you're going too far. Like once she's had her say, after she talked about the puffy pyramid nipples and all.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she goes through literally everyone.
She talked about Finn's puffy pyramid nipples. She talks about
Sam's
lips. She talks about Tina getting an eye slanting. Artie getting his legs removed.
Yeah, Mike jumps on Tina and is like self-hating Asian, and I'm like, what is happening right now?
Because Tina was in blue contacts.
Yes.
Because Tina's like, I love the way I look, and he's like, is that why you're wearing blue contacts?
Yeah, I'm like, what is it? Why is everyone jumping on Tina? Like, let her be.
And she's like, I don't have many Asian sex symbols to look up to. And I'm like, no teen talks like this, but okay.
Right. I just feel like they just like wedged this Asian sex symbols thing in there for quite literally no reason. And it's taking up time, but it's also not given the time it needs to be explored. So it's kind of like you're trying to have both and you can't, Glee.
Yeah.
It's too complex to just wedge in there.
You think you can do these things, but you can't, Nemo.
You can't, Ryan Murphy.
Okay, is there actually a deslanting eye surgery? I know there's a surgery to create a double eyelid, which is
right.
fairly
it's different. But...
Yeah.
There is like a thing, like people with hooded eyes will get surgery that'll just kind of like pull their eyelids back and like kind of hide them. So they're not like, they don't have that crease anymore. So I feel like it is a thing, but I don't know. I thought Tina was pretty problematic this episode, though. Not with the first talk in the choir room, but the second one. Just like how severely she was judging Rachel for wanting to change her own body. Really sat kind of
Everyone is
wrong with me.
judging everyone, and I'm like, and they said
Yes.
he literally his like acceptance, and Mercedes is like, shoo, we already accept each other, and I'm like, Mercedes, what are you talking about? You guys insult each other every week, and then this week he's just bringing it to light because one of the students feels so moved to change the way she looks because of. But actually, Rachel's nose thing has nothing to do with the group insulting. Like, it really only has to do with Quinn and Finn.
But, okay, her surgery? Does she have permission from her parents?
That's what I was wondering.
She's
said,
16!
Yeah, she said in the doctor's office that, like, yeah, my dads will be here any minute. And then we don't hear anything about, like, whether or not they have, like, this should have been a conversation with her dads.
Yes, it should have, and it would have been a perfect opportunity to introduce them and, like, see their view on their life and what they think of Rachel and what they want her to be, or, in, like, what she is. Like, it would have been perfect! And it just never happened.
Yeah, there was a lot of judgment on cosmetic surgery, and as someone who has gotten a nose job, I did not like it.
You got a nose job?
Interesting.
You knew me when I used to have those red splotches on my nose, like those big ones. I got them removed.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
They were like these things that they weren't pimples, but they looked like pimples, but they like attached to my nose. Not like they came from my skin. They didn't like fly attached to my nose. They were alien spores, but they were just like on my nose and I couldn't get rid of them. And in between Boston and LA, I got them removed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember that.
Didn't realize that happened.
Yeah, so the more you know. Maybe I'm not saying I'm all for teenagers getting nose jobs, but there's just a lot of judgment, and it's like, this is really not the Glee Club's decision.
Well, you also were not a teenager when that happened.
Yeah, true.
True. But
they could have come at it from like a better angle, though. Just like nobody really tried to like put themselves in her shoes and just like talk with her about it. Everyone was just telling her why not to do it over and over.
Yeah. There's no actual discussion. It was like, Rachel, you're doing a bad thing. And she's like,
yeah,
but here's actually a kind of reason why I could do it. It could possibly improve my voice. You know, like that's...
No, you're wrong.
Nope.
They just shut her down.
Stop.
Can't have that. Don't change anything about yourself.
And it's not like they're saying she's perfect the way she is. They're not saying that.
No.
So Will has this assignment of acceptance, that he wants them to sing songs about accepting themselves. So then Rachel brings Quinn to the doctor with her to get some mock-ups to see what her nose would look like if it looked more like Quinn's. And Quinn is all like, I've never been asked. I'm surprised more girls haven't asked me.
That is one of the moments where I crawled on my skin, because it's like, oh, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, one of the things, is this also when she was talking about, like, basically her privilege and being pretty and that people just kind of, like, treat... So that was something I was like, okay, I guess at least she understands she has privilege, but she's not being like, oh, and that really sucks because that means other people don't have that privilege. It's really just like, yeah, everyone just treats me really, really nice, and it's awesome. And I'm like, okay. I did not like that whole idea, but I did like the song.
Listen, Pretty Unpretty is a cultural reset. It's a renaissance.
Yes.
And it is a moment.
It is a moment. It's so good. And then, like, all of this context makes me not want to listen to the song because it makes me so sad. Like, it hurts my heart.
It's tainted.
I've separated it from the context. I just listen to it and I imagine different characters with different motivations singing it.
Well done.
I've done that too with some other pieces on my Glee songs I actually like playlist.
I have never heard this song before.
Did you like it?
Oh my god.
It's like, okay. I didn't quite get it.
So
Okay.
the song Unpretty is about that voice inside your head that always tells you that you're unpretty. And it's like learning to overcome that voice. And then mashed up with I Feel Pretty from West Side Story.
Well, yeah, I know it was mashed up with I Feel Pretty from West Side Story. But I
It's sort of like a competing ideas, like I feel bad about myself, but I'm trying to come to terms with how I look and embrace how I look. And then it's also like this confidence of like, I am awesome and wonderful and beautiful. And it's actually oddly complex for like comparing to like their other mashups.
Yeah, I think it is like such a great use of the mashup. I feel like the mashups on the show get so like overwrought and like they'll just put two songs together and they'll go verse of the one song and then chorus of the other song. But this one like really brings both of the songs together and makes something completely new with them.
Yeah.
Which I really like.
And it brings a whole new meaning. Like whereas like other mashups are just like, we put these two songs together. Cool.
Yeah. So they sing I Feel Pretty / Unpretty, and they sing it first. It's like a montage of them in the doctor's office and them living their lives. Then they're singing it at the Glee Club, and we get like looks of like Finn looking at them wistfully, and then we're supposed to be like, which one is he looking at? We don't know.
I missed that.
Yeah, I was like, this is shipper fodder.
Yeah, it is.
And then
Love triangle.
Yeah, also, this is definitely for Fayeberry fans. I thought of our friend Brittany the whole time.
Yes.
So then they sing the song, and afterwards Finn is talking to Quinn.
Wait.
Yeah.
I have to interject here because I just realized that the mashup was a mashup only for Glee, right? Right?
Yeah.
Glee did the mashup. Okay. I thought because I've never heard the song Unpretty, or is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So I thought someone else had like made a mashup and then Glee was singing it.
Interesting.
So maybe that's why I was so confused about it. It makes a little bit more sense to me now.
So so then there's this shot of all the people opening, like we were seeing from inside the lockers.
Which was kind of cool, but weird, but cool.
Yeah, I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
And Finn and Quinn are talking, and Finn's like, why are you helping Rachel do this? Like, Rachel doesn't need to change. I can't believe you're doing that. And Quinn's like, Rachel asked me to help, and so I'm helping her. And once again, we're arguing about Rachel, which one of us is actually your girlfriend. And it's like, fair point, Quinn. And he's like, doesn't matter who my girlfriend is. It's something about Rachel shouldn't get into stuff. I can't remember exactly what he says.
She says something about like, I hate this week's lesson. And then he ends by like being confused and closing his locker and then being like, I love this week's lesson.
Yes, that was cute. I did remember that.
Yeah, I thought that was really cute. But yeah, Quinn makes a good point. She's like, why again are we arguing about Rachel? Like, Rachel comes up in their relationship so much, and I can imagine how that's exhausting for Quinn, who like, for both of them probably, who kind of probably just want to move on, except there's stuff going on with Finn and Rachel that just like is so unresolved.
So then Rachel shows up to the Glee Club with mock-ups of her Quinn's
this was so uncomfy.
And she shows everyone. She hands out everyone.
Copies. She has copies for everyone. Why? That was one of my 7,000 questions. Why does she have copies?
She opened her manila folder and just started leafing through. And they were just like, this looks nothing like you. I'm like, it's literally her headshot just with a different nose. What do you mean it looks nothing like her?
Okay, that's what I was thinking too. I'm not the only one. I was like, it actually kind of does look like her. Like a lot.
Yeah.
It's just a different nose. Like,
Yeah.
I think for me, it was like so, I don't want to say, it's not traumatizing, but just like so affecting because like, I know I personally have tried to imagine, you know, myself looking differently in whatever ways. And then having like, even if, you know, the actor didn't feel this way, but like me as someone who's thought that and like seeing that someone could just like change it with graphic, like just with Photoshop, and like you could just see like what you would look like was just so icky is what I'm gonna say. Like I did not like knowing that someone could have the power to show me what I would want to look like. There was just something very weird about that.
Well, congratulations. Photoshop is like 95% of the model industry, so...
Oh, I know that. But, I mean, if I told someone, like, hey, this is how I want to look, someone could do that. And it just, like, kind of dawned on me, and I was like, oh, I don't like that. Like, it was... And also, like, for a teenager, I can't imagine that, like, that was easy to look like. I kind of wanted to see Rachel see the photo for the first time. Like, that's what I wanted to see. And see her, like, coming to terms with, like, okay, like, this is how I could look. Like, seeing what she feels about that.
Yeah. So then Puck is all like, every year on their 16th birthday, all the Jewish girls at Temple get nose jobs, and I don't get poked in the eye as much when I'm making out with them, but they're not as hot.
Gross.
And Tina's like, I love myself, and I need to build myself up as this sex symbol if I don't have many Asian sex symbols to look up to. So then Rachel's in the bathroom.
Where all the things happen.
Well, and Puck comes in.
Gross.
And he's like, oh, it's okay. I checked through my people and no one's going right now. Yeah. And so he's like, Rachel, I want you to not do this, but if you're insistent, meet us at the mall at this time.
Wait. Did you say Puck comes in?
Puck comes into the bathroom.
Yeah.
Into the women's bathroom.
Yeah.
Walk right in.
Okay.
Oh my
Cool.
god. Yeah. No, and he talks about like a peephole, and I'm like, I didn't need to know this.
I totally missed this entire scene. I think I just blocked it out of my brain.
Yeah, it's smart.
I wish I did.
That's my plan after we finish recording, is to block it out.
So then Rachel goes to the mall, and like Puck leads her to Kurt, and Kurt's like, "Thanks, Puck. I'll take it from here." And
That's so
he's
weird. Like, why is Puck the usher? It doesn't make any sense.
because Jewish.
Because right.
Oh, that's the reason?
I think
That's gotta be it.
It's the only thing that makes sense, because then no one would choose him otherwise. But like,
that's the only thing that ever connects the two of them.
yeah.
Yeah. It's so stupid. I have a lot of questions coming up, so.
And then Kurt is like, you know, Barbara Streisand didn't get a nose job, and Rachel's like, but she's one in a billion. And Kurt's like, you are too. And if you get a nose job, you'll be betraying all those little girls who look up to you and telling them to change themselves. Yeah. And then music starts playing, and we get our second flash mob of the series.
And
Yes.
the second
in the
we
same mall.
in the same mall, the same exact area, and then also the second time in a row, the second episode in a row, where we have just a song that isn't covered. It's just the song. Because, like, last week was the Jack Johnson number that Mike danced to.
Yeah, Bubba.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, also, okay, I have some questions. Question one. I don't understand this song. I never did.
Barbara Streisand.
I never understood it. I don't get it. That's number one. I guess that's not even a question. It's a statement.
Good job.
Number two, why, is there any other reason that they chose this song other than the fact that it says Barbara Streisand's name 800 times?
No, there's no other.
That is the reason.
Okay, number three. What does she learn from people dancing around her to this stupid song?
Listen, you know Leah Michelle was like, get these extras away from me. I cannot do this. Send them somewhere else.
Yeah. No, like, she looked
This is
super
horrible.
happy when they were, like, all up on her. But as soon as, like, they yelled cut, she was like, ew, stop.
Yeah, you know
I'll
she
shit
did
your
all
way.
this watching that.
Yeah. She had, like, a spray bottle, and she was, like, spritzing people to get away from her. I feel really bad for perpetrating this idea of Leah Michelle, but also, like, I don't know.
Okay, let's be real though. If she actually hated extras that much, and you can tell, like, that she's really enjoying herself in the dance, this isn't coming out quite in the way I wanted.
Yeah,
But-
took loss.
No. Okay, what I'm saying is, if she for real hates extras, and she's acting like she doesn't. Like, her acting skills are kind of off the charts.
Yeah.
Yeah, she seems like she's having a lot of fun, and I'm really confused as to why.
Because I'm not.
I was watching this scene and I felt so nostalgic, and I felt so like sad for all of these people who were dancing together in flash mobs for a thing.
Yeah.
And like, oh my gosh, that's what humanity used to be like.
Yeah,
We
it
used to
was
be
a
able to go to
flash mob
malls.
culture.
And like, there was human interaction, and you didn't have to stand 6 feet away from each other, and like, you could do dance moves with random strangers. What?
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, guys, coronavirus.
I'm sorry, it's hard.
I mostly was confused as to like how them doing a flash mob. Like, I understood the one that was involved with Artie because he was sort of like being able to live out his dream of being able to walk and dance again. But this doesn't make a lick of sense.
They just said Barbara Streisand, and she's like, you know what? No nose job for me.
Yeah.
They needed her to know that she thinks she is Barbara Streisand. And then she said, I am Barbara Streisand. And
yeah, because they like point to her.
That was it.
I don't like it.
Nose messaging.
Nose messaging.
So then she shows up at the end during the Born This Way number, and she has a shirt that says nose on it. A big nose?
They just said nose.
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 And
But it was in really big letters.
Yes.
And she's like, I did not get my nose job. And then she's like, but I'm not supposed to dance in heavy choreography. But then eventually she runs in anyway.
Yeah. And also, like, she was in heavy choreography in the mall. Like, she was flash mobbed. So.
Literally mobbed.
Literally mobbed.
So that's the end of the Rachel nose job storyline.
Yeah.
I don't know how I felt about it. I mean,
a lot of not mixed messages, but we talked about like how it's kind of discrediting the complexities of, you know, getting cosmetic surgery and that kind of stuff, and it's not really giving discussion. It's just saying like, no, this is bad.
I agree.
Yeah, they're
So-
really.
Very one-sided.
Yeah, there's no discussion at all.
And when I first watched this, I just remember like when she was in her consultation with Quinn and they were taking the pictures and drawing with the Sharpie, I was like, is she really gonna get a nose job for this TV show? I was really
Right.
in it. But then she didn't.
She didn't commit enough.
No, she wasn't. She's not that good of an actor. She's not there.
So I guess we have the Lucy Caboosey storyline. Who's excited?
I have one thing to say, and I can see the writer's hands just taking this glob and just shoving it into the story, and I did not care for it.
So Lauren and Puck are looking at the crowns, and Lauren has been like, it's been a while since the crown has rested on my head. She used to win toddler pageants, but then after she gained some weight, they wouldn't let her in anymore, and Puck's like, you should be prom queen. So then they start putting up posters.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are there actual rules that say that you can't be in a pageant if you're too heavy?
No, I think it was mostly like the community basically was like, yeah, we're not going to let you in anymore. I think it was kind of that kind of thing.
If you have questions, you should watch the movie Dumpling on Netflix.
Oh my god.
I've already seen that.
Speaking of that actress is in this episode.
What?
What?
Yes! Oh my god. Okay, so speaking of the posters, Cullen, there are these 3 girls who are a little bit on the heavier side. They're like gawking at this poster of Lauren, and right in the center, that's her. That's the
What?
actor who plays in Dumpling. Yeah.
Crazy.
I even Googled it. I was like, that has to be her, and it totally is. She's credited as girl number 1.
Wow.
Question. Why
Yes.
can't I remember what happens in Dumpling?
Well,
We can't answer that.
yeah, it's above my pay grade.
You're getting paid for this?
Yes.
Why am I not getting paid?
Yeah, it's like that meme. You guys are getting paid. So yeah, and the three girls looking at it are all wearing matching shirts, and they look like they're in like the Amish choir or something.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
So they're talking about that, like, oh, Lauren's an inspiration, and Quinn comes up to Lauren putting up posters and is like, "Are you running as a joke?" Because people want a prom queen who they aspire to be and who they want to look like, and if you win, they're gonna shove the crown on your head, and then they're gonna cover you with pig's blood or something, and you'll be even more of a joke. So Quinn's pretty mean to her.
Okay, but there was something about this conversation, like, between them, where Quinn at one point says something like, the only reason anyone's going to vote for you is because it's
A joke.
because it's a joke. Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, you are going to make them laugh. And then, what's her name? Lauren was, basically, she was just like, yeah, that's the whole point. That's how I'm planning on getting votes. Is that, like, that's what happened, right?
No, I think Quinn's saying, like, they're gonna do it to make fun of you, but Lauren's like, I'm doing it so it's a joke on you, because she thinks that people are gonna more likely vote for her. Lauren thinks this because she's like them. She's more, like, down to earth.
Well, see, that's what I wanted to get out of the conversation,
Mhm.
but I'm fairly certain there's an actual line where Lauren is like, yeah, that's the whole point. That's how I'm going to get votes.
Yeah, well, yeah, she's like, you may even win. That's what Quinn says. People may feel bad for you, or they may think it's funny, and you might even win. And Lauren's like, that's the whole point.
Okay.
Yeah, that is confusing, though, because if Quinn front loads it with all that, and then she says, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that makes a little bit more sense then.
So then Lauren and Puck do a bunch of research on Quinn and discover that she went to a different middle school, and she used to be called Lucy, and they find her yearbook picture, and she used to be chubbier and have braces and acne, and people called her Lucy Caboosey.
And red hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Red or brown hair. I don't remember which. Yeah. The Photoshop on that image was unsettling. There's a lot of Photoshop magic that I'm just not comfortable with.
Yeah, that's the theme of this week.
Is Photoshop is evil.
I couldn't even, like, when, was it, Lauren shows Quinn the photo, and she's like, you can sort of see the resemblance if you look hard enough. And I was like, I can barely, what? I can barely see the resemblance.
It looked nothing like her.
Whereas with Rachel was like, they were like, you don't look anything like yourself.
Right. Yeah.
She looked exactly the same except with the new nose.
Yeah.
And in this photo, I was like, I'm trying to see it and I just really can't. Leave it on the screen just a few more seconds.
It looked more like they just like photoshopped braces on Rebel Wilson. It looked nothing like her.
Yeah.
I would not be able to tell that that's her.
Honestly, I only saw it in the eyes, and everything else I was like, none of that is her. I think they just like took her eyes and then a bunch of other things and then put it into an amalgamation, and that's what they got.
And that's what we had to deal with.
Yeah. So Quinn talked about how her dad got transferred and he got a raise, and she asked for a nose job. She did ballet and gymnastics and cheerleading and lost a bunch of weight.
And found out she was athletic.
Yeah.
Wouldn't she know that? Is that something that people know?
It's as if she just like never did
She never
anything.
tried. Yeah.
So wait, so this means she started doing cheerleading and gymnastics because after she got her nose job, it was the nose job that helped her?
No. The nose job was after she lost me.
She literally explained it all, and none of it made any sense.
Literally none of it. That's why I'm like, wait, which happened first? Like,
I'm pretty sure she found out she was athletic, lost a bunch of weight, and then she got the nose job.
I'm flabbergasted. I don't know why they needed to, like, give her this, like, depth. It was so forced.
yes,
Yeah,
it was
it was.
so forced. And that's when, like, when we get to, like, the conclusion of it, I'm like, this is so awful. Like, it's so uncomfy.
Yeah, they just wanted to be like, not every pretty person has it easy, but it's like, that doesn't help anybody.
It's
Yeah.
almost a slap in the face because they're lying to you, telling you that she wasn't pretty before. And we
Right.
all know she was pretty before.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I always hated. There was like a girl I knew in high school who would be like, "Remember when she was fat?" And I'd be like, "What?" Because like when she was younger, she was chubbier, but it was just that annoyed me.
Yeah. Well, also, like, there's just a level of brattiness with Quinn in this episode that makes me totally forget that last year she was a pregnant teen and she got kicked out of her house. And, like, she had all of this stuff happen to her that, like, it's just, like, it's completely gone. It's not even part of who she is.
Yeah.
And, like,
I
that's a
they forgot.
serious experience.
They, like, completely wrote all that off, and then they forced all this in, and I just feel like, I don't know if they, like, felt like she wasn't as compelling a character anymore, but, like, they gave her so much the first season, and then this season she just kind of fell off, and then all of a sudden it's like she has this, like, treacherous backstory of being, like, a bullied, overweight child. It just did not make any sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave her a tragic backstory when she already had tragic story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Like, you
tragic
didn't-
events that we witnessed and
Yeah,
saw.
you don't need to, like, say, like, this thing happened. Like, you showed it. Show, don't tell.
Right, T.
Yeah. So then we found out Lauren put up posters that said "Vote for Lucy Caboosey,"
Which means Lauren would have. That means them calling her Lucy Caboosey was in those records, or she interviewed someone, because she faked Quinn out by being like Juicy Lucy, and then she's like, no, it was Lucy Caboosey, because that was already on the posters.
yeah.
Like-
so true. I didn't even think about that. Logic. Another logic that I just want to put out there. Her name wasn't actually on the poster, so if nobody knew that that's who she was called for,
Yes.
like,
Everyone.
nobody's gonna know.
You're so right. Like, the thing about Rachel's picture is it looks like her but with a different nose. But this picture, like, you really have to think about it. This whole episode is revolving around the fact that everyone can clearly see that it's Quinn, but it's
You
just
can't.
you can't. Like, you don't.
You
you have to really look hard.
It's like a Rubik's Cube.
Rubik's Cube. So Quinn runs out and they're playing like sirens, like "Arr,"
Yeah,
and, like,
that was weird.
Was that? I swear that's like some reference to something,
It
but
might
I
be.
don't know.
It might be
I
some like
thought-
horror movie reference.
Yeah, I thought it was referencing something as well, but I could not figure out what it was.
Yeah, and it also
Yeah,
was
I
like
don't know.
overly dramatic. Like, there are way worse things that have happened in the show that didn't get nearly the same soundtrack.
True.
and she runs up. Everyone's laughing at her. She sees the "Vote for Lucy Caboosey," and so apparently they can all tell it's Quinn. And she tears it down dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
I did feel bad for her though.
Did you?
I did.
I did not, because I was like, I don't believe any of this is real.
Yeah,
it-
very unbelievable.
I was like, imagine all that trauma coming back. Yeah.
That's true. Like, if it had been done, if it had been finessed a bit more, I probably would have felt more for Quinn. But also, again, I don't know why they just don't keep holding on to that very rich storyline from literally last season.
Why don't they keep holding on? By Avril Lavigne.
Our
No.
favorite Glee number.
There's nothing you can do.
I
There's nothing.
There's nothing you could say.
I I didn't feel bad for her either, really.
They make her very hard to like and feel bad for because Ryan Murphy wants her to be mean and bratty.
Then what's the point of giving her a tragic backstory that nobody needs?
Because they needed to stuff this episode with problematic messages about women's bodies.
They wanted it to be like such an ultimate episode, and it just felt like they shoved so much in.
Yeah.
Have an extra 15 minutes. Go.
Yeah. That
means
exactly
an extra 5 storyline.
Right? That's exactly what happened.
They said, all right, we need to come up with 3 backstories, and we need to come up with transformation, and we're going to crank out 5 songs, and we're doing it. It's going to be a whole deal.
But what about all these really important scenes with Rachel and her parents, with this person and that other person that could really build up? No, we don't want character building. Yeah. We want just...
Lucy Caboosey.
We want Lucy Caboosey. Lucy Caboosey.
We talk about the gay dads. We don't see them.
Yeah.
They don't happen.
They don't happen.
So then it turns out that Quinn gets a bunch of votes once people realize that like she used to be like them. The same 3 girls in the Amish choir are like, she's so relatable, so inspiring. Then they're like, you have our vote, and Quinn's all like, yes. And Lauren's like, it turns out you went up way in the polls. I guess I deserve that for doing that to you. I'm sorry. And Quinn's like, apology accepted. And then Lauren's like, I was thinking of going blonde. And she's like, I can't see blonde. Maybe red. And then they're all like, ha ha ha, we're friends.
So
much to unpack here.
So much. So the first thing I have to say is a positive note. I actually thought the Lauren Quinn bonding thing was kind of cute if it had been...
The hair thing was good.
Yeah, like if it... Because like it's mutual respect between these 2 very strong women. Mm-hmm. But if it had been built with stronger foundation, it would have paid off better. But I did kind of think it was cute.
I think it could have happened the other way. Like, given a storyline where Quinn was apologizing to Lauren, because it just I didn't like seeing like a bigger girl who like has a harder time. She has this like thick skin, but like people like target her, and Quinn just like gets off so easy, and then she's still the one apologizing to Quinn.
Yes, and that's exactly what I was gonna say. Is like literally the past, I don't know how many episodes, there's so many people just apologizing for things that aren't their fault, and they're apologizing to people who should be apologizing to them. It's like, oh, this trend is so gross. And then like the last thing is the same 3 girls, right? They're basically idolizing Quinn for basically fixing herself, that she is now better than she used to be because she lost weight, she looks really pretty, and she's popular. Like all of these things, like that's how I read it, was that like, oh, we should be worshiping her because she fixed herself. She used to be like us, but then she aspired to be something more, and we can do that too. And it was just, I crawled out of my skin.
It was gross. I hated it. I was so mad.
But if Rachel changes her nose, it's the end of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
Quinn changes everything about herself. It's perfect. Rachel changes her nose. No way.
I guess, you know, if Glee Club had been there with Quinn, maybe she would be looking exactly the same. They would be like, no, you can't change yourself because we don't want you to. But also I think the thing with Rachel is that like aesthetically, she's still really beautiful. In a lot of, like, even in, like, Hollywood standards, she's still really beautiful. But because this Lucy Caboosey version of Quinn isn't that sort of stereotypical hot, she was allowed to fix herself so that she could attain some sort of hotness. Disgusting.
I hated it. Also, it's just very unrealistic, in my opinion, to have 3 girls worship someone because of the way they look. If anything, I feel like that's a recipe for intense hatred.
Right. Yeah. Like, I agree. Like, as much as I want to say, like, I would, in like, as a teenager, I would have been more supportive, I probably would have been like, oh, she's so pretty. Like, that's often how a lot of people can think. So yeah, I definitely think that it was all so fake. It just was twisted so that Quinn could win. That rhymes.
I thought Lauren got off too easy. I thought they both were being really mean to each other.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Lauren fucking watergated the school to get this information, which I thought was kind of badass. But also it's because she's trying to take Quinn down.
Yeah, so that was that storyline. Oh, I guess there's another scene where Finn is like keeping the picture of Lucy or of younger Quinn.
Oh, that was
in his
weird.
Wallet. Yeah, weird was the best word for it, because I'm like, I can't tell if this is bad or like what the message is, but it's just weird. Like,
where did he get it?
That's what I want to know. Where did he get the wallet version of her school photo? Did he break into her house? Did he break into her files? Like, where did he get it?
He just like held up the picture and said, "That's my girlfriend."
I couldn't.
It was so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
no, but exactly, he's like, that's my girlfriend, and this is the first time when I can really see her.
And then she says thank you. I'm like, why are you saying thank you? So everyone stop saying thank you.
It was so weird, and then they kiss, and I'm like, what did he even mean?
This episode is bananas.
Yeah.
It was really, really off the wall.
And the crazy thing is, like, it's not as offensive as some previous episodes have been. And I'm still like, I don't understand this. Why is this still happening?
And just when you thought we had gone through all the storylines in this episode, we still have the big one. Santana and Kurt.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This was the best for me.
I forgot about that one. I forgot about a lot.
There were some... This is the storyline I think confuses me the most, because the other ones, it's a bit easier to be like, okay, this is where it's problematic. But this is a bit more murky. I don't know how I feel about it.
Glee was inventing relativism by creating storylines that were so confusing you don't know what right or wrong is anymore.
Yes, that's exactly it.
So Santana is thinking, she's like, Quinn's running for prom queen. I want to be prom queen. I could totally get it. I just need like someone to run with. And she's like, Sam doesn't have the juice at this school, and he's doing Sean Connery impersonation.
Which wasn't too bad. It was okay.
It was very funny. It lifted my heart. I was like, thank you, Sam.
So Santana's like, he doesn't have the heat at this school, and then she's like, Karofsky might, and then she sees Karofsky check out Sam's ass as he leans over the drinking fountain. And then she's like, Karofsky's gay. I'm a closeted lesbian and a judgmental bitch, which means one thing: I have awesome gaydar.
Okay, I laughed really hard at that line.
That's an iconic Santana line. Yeah.
Yeah, the beginning of this is all very crazy. But the thing that I noticed that was really interesting is, everyone hates Glee Club, right? Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
But there are now how many people in Glee Club running for prom queen? So many.
Yeah.
Like, what about someone else outside of this group to run for prom queen and give them some more, like, competition? That would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, if you want to make Quinn sympathetic, you have to have her face off against the even more evil,
Yep.
like the new head captain, the cheerleaders, or whatever.
Yeah.
So then Santana, Tina, and Mercedes are getting coffee with Kurt and Blaine, because that's how you meet warblers. It's this coffee shop that's halfway between Westerville and Lima.
Yeah. Geography. So, is it either halfway or is it in Westerville? Because that's where Kurt and Blaine always go. Also, Brittany and
Artie
are
there.
there, and I'm pretty sure Lauren Zeises was also there when she was spying and doing her stuff. So I have no idea. Everyone goes to the Starbucks an hour away from them to meet up and do totally separate things.
Well, it's called the Lima Bean, so I feel like it's in Lima.
Oh, is that the Lima Bean?
Uh-huh.
Then-
I'm not sure if they have the cups yet, but I know eventually they have the cups to say the Lima Bean.
Oh,
and
interesting. So yeah, maybe it's set confusion
Yeah.
because Kurt and Blaine always go to a coffee shop, and then sometimes, like, Mercedes and Rachel will meet there too. I don't know. Geography doesn't matter,
I
apparently.
mean, Jesse St. James was also going to Lima while being from Akron, so
Yeah, wasn't Vocal Journal, like, across the state?
they're from Akron, yeah. And they just
Yeah,
like drove out an afternoon to see them and were back before school was over.
yeah, simple,
As one does.
as one
Bending
does.
the physics of space and time.
Exactly. On a school bus. Miss Frizzle is
Uh-huh.
driving, apparently.
Yeah.
Imagine this show with Miss Frizzle as their
God.
teacher.
Who is Miss Frizzle? I mean, basically.
I think Miss Frizzle puts her children in less harm than Will Schuester does.
I mean, they're always encased in the bus, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, so then they're at the coffee shop, and they're like, oh, do you miss us? Like, do you miss New York? And Kurt's like, or we wish you were going to New York with us. And Kurt's all sad, and then Santana's thinking, oh, if I could get Kurt to come back, then everyone in Glee Club would worship me, and that would mean I would win prom queen.
Because
Glee Club.
the 11 people in the club, she's got 11 votes out of, I don't know how many kids go there. Seems bigger than the school we went to, so like...
No. The logic is a little bit more twisted. Okay, so she wants to get Kurt to come back to the school.
Yeah.
Because if she can get the other guy, Gorofsky? If she can get Gorofsky to like turn the other way around and
Being
get
nice.
him to date her. Yes, if she can get him to be nice. This is so hard to explain. This is why it doesn't work.
She has so many steps. She's like, okay.
I need Gorofsky in order to win the crown. But I can't date Gorofsky unless I blackmail him.
Yeah.
And get the other people in Glee to, like, I guess sign off on it?
Yeah, essentially.
And the only way that they'll do that is if she can get Kurt to come back to the school and make it look like Gorofsky was the instigator.
I am picturing Allyssa standing in front of a board with a bunch of yarn and pictures and just moving things around. That's what I picture.
We're basically there.
A lot of hand gestures.
It's so convoluted.
Yeah, it's a lot of steps because, like, basically she goes from being in the classroom having her voiceover, and then it transitions to the coffee shop and she has another voiceover, but they're both connected. Yeah, it's a lot.
So yeah, she's like, I need to get Kurt back. So she stands up and she's like, I gotta gotta go.
Another iconic line.
Yes. It didn't make a lot of sense, the Santana and Karofsky stuff, but I just lived for how much ridiculous stuff Santana got to say this episode because of it.
Yeah.
Just the entire time, she's what kept me going.
Yeah. She was a rock with her amazing lines.
The puppy nipples and the I've got a gay were the two that I specifically put down.
So then she has coffee with Karofsky.
Possibly at the exact same coffee shop.
Literally turned around and went to another table.
They put their clothes in the middle of the place.
And he's like, oh, I'm surprised you haven't asked me out. Like,
gross.
I'm quite the Duke stud or whatever at McKinley. Which, and she's like,
I don't believe that at all. He's an asshole to everyone.
Yeah. No, he sucks. And she's like, cut it out. I know that you're gay. And she's like, what? And she's basically like, I put it together. I know what happened. And she's like, you're what I call a late in life gay. That you're going to get married and become a state senator or a deacon, and then you'll be caught, like, making out or having sex with the page boy in the locker room or whatever.
Yeah. It was hard to watch all this blackmail stuff, because that's where it gets murky, because I'm like, okay, Krofsky kind of sucks. Well, he sucks a lot, but also, like, there's, he's really struggling with, his sexual identity, and she's exploiting that for
Yeah.
what? To be prom queen. And I'm like, ugh. But then what happens with Kurt? I'm like, I don't know. Some of it's kind of worth, I don't know.
Teenagers suck.
See, it's easier for me to accept the, like, conniving, like, dynamic with Santana because she's just a bitch, and she says she's a bitch, and she owns it. But when it's,
She
like,
keeps it 100% real.
yeah, when it's, like, Schuster thinking he's helping, it makes it just, like, something else.
Yeah.
It's true. Maybe I have an easier time accepting Santana's manipulations because she's always talking about how much of a bitch she is, but
Yeah.
also, like, if you can see everything that she's doing and you know her motivations and you know what she's trying to get, it's a lot easier to get behind it.
Yeah, she's very clear with her intention always. She's never, like, mincing words.
Yeah, that's true.
So Santana basically says, Krofsky, let's be each other's beards and run for prom king and queen. And you have to agree to stop bullying people and apologize to Kurt. And they form a group called the Bully Whips.
I
That stops bullying. You live.
I want a beret and a bomber jacket. Like, I want to be a part of it. Just the look alone.
Yeah, like, there's, like, a snapshot of seeing them in action. They, like, walk down the hallway in slow motion, and then, like, they confront this, the fellow football player who's always, like, really bullying people and stuff. But Santana's like, it's not cool. And it was so after-school special that I was like, okay, this is kind of a bit, like, tongue-in-cheek that I'm like, okay, I kind of like this little play. But then I'm also like, this is a possibly good thing for the school? I'm confused.
Yeah.
How do I feel? Someone tell me how I should feel.
Well, it's interesting because it would actually be a good thing for the school, but they're treating it like a joke. So you're like, wait.
Yeah,
what?
exactly. That's another thing. So many layers.
Like an onion, like Shrek.
Like Shrek.
Yeah. So then Krofsky apologizes to the Glee Club for his behavior. And I just want to, as we go on, Sam and Santana have been dating. There's been no breakup.
Has there been no breakup?
There has been no breakup.
No breakup on screen.
I was going to say, I thought there was. I just kind of assumed.
And then Santana is like, because Krofsky is like, Santana really helped me see the light. And Santana's like, yeah, as I was helping him, something else blossomed. Love. And she grabs his hand. And there's just like a quick shot of Sam. And that's it.
So I guess I kind of thought they had broken up after, like, all the Trouty Mouth stuff.
It never officially happened.
Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it never happened.
And that would have been such a funny scene, the Trouty Mouth breakup.
Yeah,
I did not even notice Sam in this episode until you guys mentioned his name, honestly.
Yeah.
And so then Krofsky is doing like an official apology to Kurt and Bert. Like Krofsky and his dad are there, and Mr. Schuster and the principal Figgy Fig. They're all there, and Krofsky's like, I turned over a new leaf. I started the Bully Whips, so you can come back. And Bert's like, I know you really want to go back to the school because you miss your friends, but he's like, my family has been under so much stress spending money we don't have to send Kurt to private school because of your son and because of Krofsky. Like, we can't just take this lightly.
Yeah, like, Krofsky even says, like Bert's like, you threatened to kill my son, and he was like, it was a figure of speech. And I'm like, what? What? No, like... Yeah, I literally, my notes are Krofsky's dad, ... and then I wrote, Bert is good dad.
Bert is good. It is a known fact that Bert is good dad.
He's such like a bulldog too, going after the principal and Krofsky's dad. Like, he's so
cute.
He is good dad.
He's so cute.
Yeah, no, like, the way Bert handles this, I think is really great. Kropsky's dad, I can't understand. Like, he's really, like, I can't understand because he's coming to the defense of his son. But I'm also like, I don't know, dude. Like, you seem super fucking shady.
Yeah, he was gross.
Really?
Yeah, I think he's really shady because, like, the last time he didn't really talk, and then this time he's like, yeah, no, my son's totally turned around, and like I was like, I don't like this. Like, something feels weird.
Well, I mean, I don't know enough about him. There are basically two things I know. Number one, he doesn't know his son.
Yeah.
Number two, he thinks he knows his son. So that tells you enough, but it's I don't feel like there's enough there to say he's shady. I think basically he's an idiot.
There's just something not right.
Yeah.
Alyssa, you've never seen the show before, right? This is the first time you're watching it?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Then I won't say
Oh, wait a second. Am I subconsciously remembering something then?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think that if they would have taken out, like, the Quinn and Lauren stuff this episode, they could have put more in with the Karofsky storyline to clarify it, because what was going on really did make a lot of sense, and just to set up what's coming, because yeah.
I'm so curious now.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too, because I don't remember, but I'm like, this dude is freaking me out.
It's a pretty big deal.
I'm so curious.
Yeah, this whole conversation, I literally wrote, was like, this is kind of traumatizing, because, like, last time Kurt was in the situation, he was literally like, I was just threatened, I need to leave this school kind of thing. And so, like, it was kind of bringing up all of that stuff. On a positive note, though, Kurt's outfit was amazing, and I was dying for his brooch. It was like scissors and a bouquet of flowers. I need it.
They really made you, like, all out Kurt this episode, because we've just been seeing him in that blazer for so long now, and you gotta cool out the looks. And they
Kurt's like, I miss dressing in my own clothes.
Right.
Yeah, so they agree and that they're gonna, like, because Kurt's like, let's talk one-on-one with Krosky, and he's like, what's your angle here? And Krosky's like, Santana, this is all Santana's plot. She wants me to be better so she can win prom queen. She thought she could win if you come back.
I literally can't believe Krosky just, like, lays it all out. That kind of shocked me.
Yeah, Kurt and Krosky are talking. Meanwhile, Bert and Finn are watching from outside, and Bert's like, something's not right. Watch out for your brother. And Finn's like, yeah, I'll keep my eye on him. And then, so Krosky and Kurt come to an understanding, and Kurt's like, you may not be ready to come out, but you need to educate yourself. You need to learn, and you need to, together we're going to start a P flag, parents and friends of
lesbians and gays.
Yeah.
Yeah, us bisexuals, we don't exist yet.
Yeah, that you were erased by Ryan Murphy in the Blame on the Alcohol episode.
Yeah, I guess Brittany's bi-curious, but I don't know if they consider that the same thing. But
yeah, I'm so glad that Kurt said they were going to do this, and so glad for all the scenes that we're going to spend for them. I
mean, just like the Celibacy Club, we're going to get some time in there talking about stuff, right?
Right.
Wait, so P flag isn't actually a thing that happens between them? They just mention it one time and this
I
is
don't
it?
think it ever happens.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really great scene, though.
Yeah, it's a great idea. It's honestly a great idea. It's kind of like Kurt's pitching like a sort of hidden way for Krosky to learn more about, like, what the experience is of being gay and to kind of help him figure it out, which is pretty clever. And is also a good community building thing, but Does it happen? Guess we'll never know.
Right. Kurt did call Santana Lady Macbeth, which I lived for.
Same. I was like, ugh.
Two pieces of high art comparing themselves to each other.
Shakespeare and Ryan Murphy Syndicate.
Yes.
So Kurt is transferring back to McKinley. Mercedes is all excited about it. She's like, it's 12 o'clock. That means it's official. Kurt shows up in a top hat, ready to be back at McKinley. He's greeted by everyone, and then they're like, hey, we're happy to have you, but someone wanted to say goodbye. And Blaine and the Warblers show up, and Blaine is like, I'll still have you on the weekends, but these guys won't, so they wanted to say goodbye. And they sing Somewhere Only We Know.
They drove on a school day, in the middle of the school day, an hour and a half. Did they get permission? Who would give them permission for this?
No, they all ditched.
What kind of transfer goes through at noon?
Right. Usually it's really like, okay, you start the next full day. Like, it's not like a business contract. It's like, this goes into effect 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like, no.
It's like, oh, I'll finish out the morning, and then I think I'll take my leave. Like, what?
Yeah. It's like he spent the early morning hours at Dalton cleaning up whatever locker space or whatever space he had there, and then drove the rest of the time back to Lima, and then was ready for school.
Cuckoo. It was cuckoo.
Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite Glee songs, though, I have to say.
It is a really pretty cover.
I'm obsessed.
This song was stuck in my head for literal days after I watched it.
Good. And you get to see Darren Criss run to the piano to hit 3 chords. I mean,
Yeah.
Piano in the middle of the courtyard in Ohio.
Yeah, an outdoor courtyard, because, we had one of those, Kyle, that's where we had all of our lunches. Even when it snowed, we were out there, because that's Ohio.
It's refreshing,
So refreshing. Frostbite is refreshing to the face.
the outdoor stuff in this show there's literally a scene, I don't know what episode it is, but Sue is on the bleachers and there's a full-ass palm tree behind her.
Oh my god.
Like, they just do not care.
Oh my god, we have that. If that's in the past episode, someone has to go back and find it. Oh my god.
The episode that was on after the Super Bowl, where they did
Oh
have
my
the
god.
roll, but I might be wrong.
Oh my god.
I wonder if they had paintouts for the palm trees. I've done some of those on TV shows.
Yeah.
Where they're like,
And
this is supposed to be in Midwest. Take
and
out all of the palm trees.
Someone forgot to do that.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. The only qualm I really have with the number is that it kind of would have been, I think it would have been better if New Directions had prepared to sing with them. So it's both like a going away number and also a coming home number, where both of his sort of families got together. That's it's honestly just it's a note, I know they're not in feedback mode right now, but
No, actually that'd be pretty cool because we haven't seen them sing together at all.
Mm-hmm.
There's all these different groups, but it'd be cool to see people work together.
Exactly. It's not like their vocal adrenaline where they absolutely despise each other. They seemed pretty cordial overall.
We will see the Warblers and the New Direction sing together. When? I won't tell you.
There's so many spoilers, you guys. Stop it.
Alyssa, you're
Stop
going
it.
to forget. It's fine.
Now that you said it, I won't. You.
That's
You
true.
did think.
You're welcome.
Ha ha ha.
It's going to
How
bother
dare you?
until it happens. Honestly, I'm going to forget, so.
But then Kurt walks around the high school and sings to the Glee Club Never Said Goodbye
Oh my god.
by Barbara Streisand.
My favorite performance of the episode, hands down. It was so good.
Yeah,
and so emotional.
It was so good.
And it was
a long number too. They gave him the whole song.
It was
really,
really, really long. I kind of got tired of it about halfway through. Just saying.
I just love seeing Kurt do the Broadway classics. That's all I want.
We did talk about how good Kurt's hair looked.
Oh,
my God.
so good.
Who?
Everyone had really good hairstyles this episode. I don't remember, and there were a couple other people where I was like, that's also a good hairstyle. I like that hairstyle. They're on a roll.
There were a lot of hats that covered up hairstyles. Quinn wore a hat. Santana wore her Davy Crockett hat. Brittany...
We had the berets famously.
Yeah, Brittany wore a hat. Brittany always wears strange hats. It's, yeah, lots of hats. Some good hairstyles. Great brooches. Terrific brooches.
What was the key thing around Kurt's neck?
Oh, great question. I think I thought about this too. I think it was attached to his sweater, kind of like a built-in necklace thing. That's what I thought it was.
Okay. Oh, well, okay. It wasn't. He was wearing a collared shirt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a collared shirt with a sweater, and then this thing, the necklace thing that was under his collar, right? It wasn't around his neck, it was under his collar.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that maybe he's trying to wear it like an ascot?
Or maybe it was part of the jacket and it like unhooked with the rest of the buttons.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's a mystery, but also fabulous.
Fabulous mystery.
Mm-hmm.
We have a Santana and Brittany scene where they're getting their shirts ready for the big Born This Way number. And Brittany is like, I got a shirt for you. And it says, I'm Lebanese. And Santana is like, I'm Hispanic. And she's like, wait, is that supposed to say lesbian? And Brittany's like, we haven't been as close to... Oh, we have to talk about the iconic line that this pre-referenced.
Yes.
I'm a lesbian. I thought you were American.
And then what's the X-Files music? Or what other music it is? Yeah, Grapevine reference.
Yeah. But Brittany's like, I miss you, and Santana's like, you blew me off. And it's Brittany's like, is it because you're lesbian and I'm bi-curious? And it's like, no, I said I loved you and you couldn't say you loved me back.
But that's not true. Brittany did say it. Brittany she said, I love you, but then there was a but in it. But I also love Artie. That's what she said. So I'm like,
no.
Santana only heard what she wanted to hear, and it like broke my heart because I'm like, but she did say it.
Okay, but my mom always said, if you're going to put but in a sentence, then it erases everything that came before.
Yeah, you put conditional love.
That has some wisdom.
That's just recta.
I don't know. I think that Brittany's obviously like not in the wrong, and Santana's really trying to like beat her up about it, and it just makes me sad because obviously they're both hurting.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. Santana's so stubborn, and then seeing her like just sit in the audience while they're singing, it was like, girl, what are you doing?
But she also wore the shirt, and I was like, my heart.
She was brave enough to put the shirt on, but she just wasn't quite ready to go out and dance.
Yeah.
So that's the end of the Santana storyline. Is Kurt and Tina and everybody are singing Born This Way in their shirts that say Trouty Mouth, and Puck says I'm with stupid and gestures to his penis.
Which is awful. Like, what does that even mean? I don't care what it means, but like, he shouldn't be there. He's disqualified from this number.
Did anyone see what Lauren's shirt said?
I think it said bad attitude.
Bad attitude. Yep.
Oh, interesting.
And they Finn says can't dance. They all say different things about them. And they sing Born This Way, and it cuts to Santana watching with Karofsky alone in the bleachers, or alone in the stands. But before the number started, they're like, where's Santana? And Sam's like, probably off making out with Karofsky. He can have her. And I'm like, so that's the breakup line.
Interesting.
Oh,
interesting.
I see. Okay.
Do we have any other comments on the Santana and Kurt storyline?
No.
Not enough Blaine. Could have done more with Blaine.
So Finn sings I Gotta Be Me because with Mike Chang to show off that he's struggling with his dancing, and it's cute. And then they're like, Mr. Schuster's like, someone who's not afraid to point out something he's bad at. And he's like, but I'm getting better, right? And everyone's like,
Yeah.
It was actually pretty funny. It was cute.
I didn't really care for the number at all. I just didn't like it. Although I was proud that he was like, yeah, I'm going to dance. And I'm like, good for you. I actually kind of felt the same way. Good for you, pointing out something you're not good at.
I think my favorite part of the number was when Mike does a whole bunch of fancy stuff with his feet and then points over at Finn, and Finn kind of fumbles around.
Yeah.
It was good. It was a good time.
So that's the end of the storyline for our episode.
That's the end of the Finn storyline. That's literally it, right? Nothing else.
He loves the lesson and he sings a song. Yeah.
He's so to be included.
Yeah. That's what also they did with their extra 15 minutes. It's like we have to squeeze Finn in here somehow to make sure everyone knows he's still important.
Right. So Tina time.
10? 9. 9. She had 9 lines. Oh my gosh.
I love how this segment of the show is just devolving every week.
Well, it's been a while since we watched the episode.
It has been.
That's true.
All right, now MVPs and LVPs. Kyle, who is your least favorite character this week?
This week I would probably have to say Quinn or Mr. Shu, just because I didn't feel either of them. I didn't feel bad for either of them. I didn't feel like I was on either of their side. I just they're being too much for me. Team too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I originally had Santana down for the blackmailing Karofsky thing, but I also was like, but like Kurt comes back and the movement's actually kind of good to stop bullying. So I think I'm going to stick with my answer. I'm still kind of like not cool on Santana blackmailing Karofsky because he's in such a vulnerable position right now. But I also understand that it's a really tricky thing that's happening because there are some positives. Yeah.
Well, you never said who it was.
I said Santana.
Wait. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I totally misunderstood that entire
I did say like
segment.
6 names, to be fair. It's
Yeah,
like I wrote an episode of Glee right there.
I'm gonna go with Lauren.
Mm.
I don't know. I felt like she wanted the crown almost just because she wanted to take it from Quinn.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole reason why she was doing all of these things, and like it didn't quite make sense to me, and she was being really mean about revealing Quinn's backstory, even though it's a terrible backstory. I don't know. I wasn't there for it. So
I'm gonna go with Santana too. I think when we were watching, I said she really is despicable.
Oh my god.
Like all her machinations and like good things came out of it, but that's not why she did it.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my vote. Kyle, who is your most valuable player this week?
Okay, well, apparently you're all going to hate me because it's for sure Santana.
This has happened before.
Hot takes.
I don't know. I just live for any time she really says anything. I just think that she is like the whole point, like the humor of the show, just she delivers it so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that she is just a goddess walking amongst them all.
In a weird way, she's like the most complex character this episode.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
that's why I'm like, oh, I don't know. But then I'm also like, I don't know. It's a very hard LVP.
She really contains multitudes.
She does. She does. My MVP this week is Emma. For really being brave and getting help. Like, it unfortunately took a lot of pain for her to get to this place, but I'm really proud of her for going to get help and accepting the feedback that she got from her doctor. I thought it was just really important that Glee that covers literally every topic and very like none of them well. This was a moment where I was like, okay, yeah, this is a good message. Get help when you feel like you need it.
I have a confession to make. I completely forgot about the Shu and Emma plotline.
Yeah.
Because it was so long ago that we talked about it.
That, and there are 10 storylines.
Yes. I'm changing my LVP to Shu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I forgot he existed in this episode, and he's terrible, and he's a terrible person for doing all those terrible things to Emma. It was awful.
Yeah, he threatened her with fruit, and I didn't really think that was possible.
So I'm changing my LVP. My MVP, I'm actually going with Kyle on this one.
Okay.
Santana is definitely my favorite character this episode. She is so deliciously manipulative, and it's awesome.
Right.
I think, Cullen, when you said she's so despicable, I said, I love a good villain.
True.
That's valid. That's valid.
She really picked it up this episode, and like she's doing all of these things for herself with these great motivations, and I can get behind it. I love it.
She is entertaining to watch. Like, especially this episode. Like, I'm not bored watching Santana.
Yeah.
For my MVP, it could be Emma because of all her breakthrough, but I also really liked Finn's dorky little dance number. So I don't copy Hannah. I'm gonna go with Finn.
Okay. He had total of like 8 minutes of screen time, and he's the MVP.
Yeah.
Least problematic.
Episode.
Yeah. Either that or Kurt was so good too, and I was so happy for him. All right, our song selection. I think you mentioned this, Kyle, but what was your least favorite song?
This episode had a lot of my faves just in general that have been done on the show. But I would say my least favorite was definitely the Finn I've Gotta Be Me song. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
Listening to him sing.
Yeah, sorry, not sorry. I kind of wasn't really into it at all. I didn't really like his singing in it, but I think Mike's dancing was awesome.
Yeah, agreed.
I need a rundown.
We have Born This Way, I've Gotta Be Me, Never Said Goodbye, Somewhere Only We Know, I Feel Pretty Unpretty, and that's it, right?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, and Barbra Streisand, if you want to count that. The flash mob.
Wait, yeah.
What is Never Said Goodbye? Is that the one that Kurt sings?
Yeah.
Are we counting Barbra Streisand? Because that's definitely my least favorite.
I think we can all agree that's weird and it doesn't count.
Okay. I'm gonna go with Never Said Goodbye because it just didn't capture my attention. I was bored.
Yeah, I feel bad because I'm pretty sure Kyle said this was his favorite, but Never Said Goodbye bored me too.
I thought it was really pretty. I did really like it. I was glad that they gave him the whole song, but I was also like, it's a little long, but also like, I'm here for it. It was also very confusing.
It was kind of confusing. It was long, and this is probably different for you, Cullen, because you are all about the Broadway stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I've never heard this song before, so I have no connotation of what it's supposed to be. Like, I kind of got the feeling that it was a classic, but I don't have any of the feelings. I don't have any, like, emotional attachment to it being a classic. Mm-hmm. So it was just kind of like, eh.
Yeah. My least favorite... Wait, I already said it. Kyle, what was your favorite song?
Okay. I would say that my favorite performance was As If We'd Never Said Goodbye, but my favorite song would have to be Somewhere Only We Know, because I'm still obsessed with it to this day.
Yeah, that is a really
Such
good cover.
Such a good song, yeah.
Yeah. My favorite song is I Feel Pretty Unpretty. It's such a good mashup that it actually, like, and we talked about this, they're both good songs, like, to listen to and sing along to if you know them. But then together they actually sort of elevate the messages in both and kind of work together to create a new message. And I think it's really spectacular. So yeah.
So I think Pretty Unpretty is definitely the smartest song in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite song in this episode is Somewhere Only We Know.
Okay.
Somewhere Only We Know.
Yes.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah! I'm so good at this, you guys. It is still stuck in my head. It's a problem.
A good problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Somewhere Only We Know, but I think I Feel Pretty Unpretty is my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
I love that duet. So good.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty.
Or
Nice.
Unpretty.
Or unpretty. Yeah. So Kyle, thanks so much for coming on this week. It's been a journey, lots of ups and downs, technical
Yes.
difficulties.
It's been a straight up trek. It's been the Amazing Race.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And you made it to the end. Yay!
This is our 4th time recording.
Yeah.
We did it.
We'll probably explain what's going on, but this episode is cursed.
Yeah.
He did not want us to talk about it, and we did.
Do you have any social medias you'd like to plug?
Yes, you can follow me on Instagram at KJREA, and my Twitter is at Kizzleface because I made it when I was 15,
I was gonna say, I feel like I remembered that.
and I don't know how to change it, so here we are.
Never change it. It's perfect.
Yeah, it's a gem.
So we are at Gleeboot Pod on Instagram and Twitter, and then gleebootpod.tumblr.com on Tumblr. We got all the fresh Glee memes for you.
You can follow me on YouTube at your boy Ryan, YABOI Ryan, and your boy Ryan99 on Instagram and TikTok.
And you can follow me on Instagram at a.m.swearingen. SWEARINGEN.
Nice.
I have all the dots in the correct places.
Woo, we did it, guys.
We made it
We
through this
did
mega
it.
episode.
Oh my goodness.
But we are definitely going to have you back, Kyle, if you will have us, because it was
Yeah.
so awesome to relive Glee with my Glee father.
I would love to.
Well, thank you so much for being on, Kyle.
Yes, thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right. See you next week, audience.
Bye.
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 Where's the stop recording button?